Huh. Flatheads, dropped axles, banjo rear ends, tube shocks, tires, frame. Nothing in here about repairing subrails. And where's my help? So I guess that means it's just us tonight. Hey, we're gonna do some welding, some grinding, some heating, some beating, some bending some metal. We're gonna get dirty, we're gonna make some noise. Thanks for hanging out at Phillips Hot Rod Garage. Tonight we're gonna finish this subrail once and for all. Done tonight. So here's where we left off in the last video. We've got some areas we've got to show some attention to before we can fully weld this out tonight. Now I'll start here on the outside. What we've got going on is this area is flush, it's ready to weld. This area is flush, ready to weld. It's flush and ready to weld all the way across the top. We've got some area here that's flush and ready to weld. Same down in here, flush and ready to weld. All right, here I've got this old subrail is higher than the new subrail, so I got to get this area lined up before I can weld it. All right, I've got inside here, I've got an area right in here that is really far off. And as you can see, the new piece of subrail that I'm putting in is wider than the existing subrail. However, it's not wider here, so it's just made a little different. So what I'm gonna do is stick a straight edge up here and show you what I'm working with. I got that much of a difference. So I could leave that, and when I put the floor pans in the car, it'll cover over all that and you won't ever see it. But I just like to do things right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split this new piece of subrail and take enough material out that I can push this in to match the old subrail, weld it all up. It'll look factory. All right, and the last area I've got to show some attention to is right here. What I've got going on is the new piece of subrail here has a nice crisp bend in the corner. The subrail on the car is more round in this area, has more of a contour. But if you go toward the back, near the back of the door opening, it has that nice crisp bend. So what happens is the original subrail, as it extends to the front, it gets more and more rounded. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna heat this area. Just gonna heat this up with a torch. And I'm just gonna hammer this area in to where I've got that nice crisp bend. When it matches up to this, I'll weld it all up. I think it's gonna look factory. I remembered the ground this time. All right, boys and girls, let's get it welded. I blew it out, guys, but I know how to fix that. Guys, this is what the welding's looking like so far. I've got everything welded that I can weld up to this point. Now I've got to address these areas that are not aligned properly. When I get these areas lined up, I can finish welding out. There's the area where I blew it out. I got it fixed. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be beautiful. As long as it's welded good and stuck, that's all that matters. Hey, we're gonna come in here and grind every bit of this off, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so let's address these areas now, see if we can get this wrapped up. So I split the subrail, split it up pretty far, had to go that far to get it level. I got the inside portion welded. Well, looks good. All right, stick a straight edge on here and see what we got now. That looks pretty good. That's lined up good enough right there. What is that? Somebody needs a muffler. It would have been different if that thing would have been a cool hot rod. Sounding like a little 4-cylinder. All right, guys. Get all that welding done. That's ready to grind. So now I've got to address this area and this area. This thing will be ready to grind down. All right, guys, I got my torch ready, got my dolly, got my hammer ready. What I'm gonna do is heat this area. I'm gonna lay this dolly right down in the corner. I'm gonna hit it with a hammer, try to reshape this area. I know some of you are gonna cringe when you see me hit this dolly with that big hammer, because that's not really what it's made for. It damages the dolly. But this dolly went through a shop fire, and I just bead blasted it clean. I'm sure the metal composition is not the same as it was. It got really hot and the fire department put it out. And so it got hot and it got quenched with water and it got rusty and it sat out in the weather and was rusty for quite a while. So it's pitted. I don't use it for body work. I just use it for stuff such as this. I got some really good dollies for body work. So nobody scold me too hard for hitting this dolly like this. Let's get this thing heated up. that almost got it. Put a little bit more with it here. There's where I heated it and reformed it. That fits perfect. Did any of y'all see where I dropped my wire brush? I found it. All right, guys, there we are. It's all welded. It looks good. It's been a lot of work, though. A lot of work. Let's get some grinding done. And there it is. You can barely see where it was welded in. Barely see it. The top is just about perfect. That part will actually have the Ford plate, the scuff plate, will actually cover over that area. This out here will be seen, but it's blended in nicely. And you can see just a little bit where the weld is here on the inside. But all that'll be covered up. The floor panel cover over that, carpet, everything. I'm pleased. I'm happy with the way that turned out. Looks very good. Dropped axle. Oh yeah, I need one of them. Steering box. Yeah, I gotta have one of them. '39 transmission. Oh, I might have bought one of them today. We'll see. We'll see. And me and my buddy Eric, we might have come up with some flathead stuff today. We'll just have to see about that. I want to say thank you to all of you who have hung out to the end of the video. It has been a long, hard night. But this area of my car is solid now. That was the worst area of the car. That was the part that I was looking forward to doing in the beginning. I knew I wanted to do that section first. And so the subrail now is solid in this area. The A-pillar or cowl post is solid in this area. It's looking good. But I still got the whole rest of the car to do, so I got plenty of content, a lot coming up. I've got a video that I'm working on the 32 Ford. I don't know if I'm gonna put that video out before this one or after, but there's a video on the 32 coming up. Eric and I are gonna go on a mission and pick some stuff up. We'll have that video coming up. Got a car show coming up this weekend. I'm gonna have footage for that coming up. Hey, I just appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. And this Model A is a dream come true for me. Been wanting to build one for a long time, and I'm making it happen. So I appreciate all of you who have taken an interest in it and have hung out with me through all these videos that I've been doing. I've had a few questions that were asked about this car. I had a local viewer stop by today and asked me why I keep referring to this car as a special coupe. He had never heard of one, and I'll cover that in an upcoming video in case you guys are wondering what makes this be a special coupe. I'll cover that. And I also had a few questions about how I'm going to handle the gap between the body and the frame, and what I'm going to do about that, because the bottom of the Model A is flat and the 32 frame has a curve. I've had some questions on how I'm going to address that. I will talk about that in an upcoming video as well. I'll pull the body off the frame and show you where the frame's curved and where it's flat and what I've got to do to take care of that. And of course, we're going to be making some adjustments to the cowl. We're going to be making the cowl fit the frame like it should. So I'm going to cover all that anyway, but I'll go ahead before we get to that and explain what I'm going to do and how that's going to work out. And hopefully what you see in my videos is helping somebody, because I've had a couple of comments about some guys building the same kind of car. Hey, you guys just feel free to comment anytime. I'm going to answer all the comments if I can. And hey, I'm better at building cars than I am talking on the camera, so I'll see you guys next time.